This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We are off and running on a Wednesday evening alongside Jonathan Von Tobel. I am Tim Murray. Happy Masters Eve to all that celebrate a busy night on the NBA card. Mr. Von Tobel, how you feeling today on this lovely Wednesday?
Well, I'll do the unprofessional thing and say, Tim, I got a little bit of a headache, but I'm feeling great. I'm feeling fantastic, very ready to go.
How hard did you go last night?
Tomorrow is the match. Dude, I have to say, I did not go that hard last night. Can I tell you, getting old sucks. So the other night, when I saw you out, you out on the town on Monday night for the national championship game.
Believe it or not, it does happen every once in a while. Every once in a blue moon.
Tim does socialize. I also saw him recognize a Notorious B.I.G. song, so that was very good, too.
2 for 2.
Yep, right, there you go. That evening, I had two Labatt Blues. The next morning, I woke up, I thought I had like 20. I don't know what's going on. You can actually go and listen to my hit in VSiN by the books and listen to my voice. It sounds like I was out until like 3 in the morning. I went to bed at 10. So I don't know what's going on, but getting old sucks, I think, is really the end statement from all of that.
You're too old for this stuff.
Pretty much. Good thing I'm not staying out late tonight.
That's right. We might venture upstairs.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm ready to go at it again.
Let's see what...
I don't work tomorrow. Let's go. Actually, I do in the morning. It sucks.
We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, my lovely Washington Nationals unable to complete the 3-game sweep over the Los Angeles Dodgers. But a lot of day baseball today, JVT. We will get to the results as the San Diego Padres become the first team to 10 wins. And we saw an under today, believe it or not, in the city of Sacramento as the Padres beat the A's 2-1. Masters coming up, of course. We got a bunch of guests. Kelly Bidlin will join us, hour number 2. Hoping to check in with Steve Sands down at Augusta. Busy day for him, so we'll see if he can jump on in the final hour of the program. But a lot of NBA to get to. You were able to cash your Wizards under. I need one more result in the final 3 games. Hopefully tonight is the night as they host the Philadelphia 76ers, and the market coming in on the team with the 12-game losing streak in those Philadelphia 76ers. We also had the return of Luka Doncic, a big one tonight as the Denver Nuggets, without Michael Malone, they hit the floor against Sacramento. So we're going to have multiple games of the night for you, but let's hit the first one here to start things off, our game of the night.
The lights are on and the stakes are high. It's the primetime game of the night.
I mean, all I care about is the Wizards losing, so that's the game of the night for me.
I think you can argue.
Philadelphia at the Washington Wizards. What an important game in the association, JVT.
No, I think the game of the night actually takes place here in about 30 minutes from now, where I need the Toronto Raptors to win one more bleeping game to get this thing over the total. Let's go. You guys were ready for it. You guys were ready for it. Throw it up. Let's go. They're 11.5-point favorites. Total of 218. Give me one more, boys. You're 11.5-point favorites. None of this nonsense. The Hornets, in terms of actual win totals bet, I have bet 5 win totals. Tim, I bet 5. I've cashed 4 of them. The one loss, the one I recommended to Paul Bovey, was the Hornets over their win total. They have clinched the under already. So, of course, what are they going to do tonight? I'm sure they'll win outright, because why not? They could screw me over one last time. Need it done. However, it will not be our primetime game of the night. There are 2 candidates here. I think we go to late night tonight. Denver gets to take on Sacramento. The narratives abound as the Nuggets get to play in their first game since firing Michael Malone, excuse me.
Don't call him Mike.
And their GM, Calvin Booth.
Now that he's unemployed, can we call him Mike?
I think we can. He won't yell at least he won't yell at Cassie Hubbard anymore. They are up to 4.5-point favorites. Total 234.5. We get some news from the Kings side today that Malik Monk will actually be out for the foreseeable future. I believe it's a hamstring strain, so it'll be a little bit short-handed here, but everything here, right? I mean, are we betting on the, hey, snap back because your coach gets fired? They have lost 4 consecutive games. There's so much in this contest, and I'll tell you this, given the way this team plays defense, I don't know if I'm comfortable laying 4.5 on the road with the Nuggets squad that has lost 4 straight games. I think we might be a tad on the high side here. But I hate the Kings, so I think this has to be the game of the night. Given all of the narrative surrounding this, I know Luka Doncic and his return to Dallas is something here, but what Denver is going to give us after firing a finals-winning head coach, I think, is absolutely fascinating this evening.
Look, there's no there's no laws made by our producer Justin that we can't do multiple games of the night. I know it's called Game of the Night, but we're going to make it Games of the Night. So we got a late night game, Denver and Sacramento, the first game post Michael Malone and Mr. Booth there, Calvin Booth. What about the Los Angeles Lakers headed to the Dallas Mavericks? The return of Luka Doncic. He was wearing all black, JVT, walking into the arena today. Nico Harrison was there, meeting people, greeting on the floor. I'm sure he won't get booed mercilessly there against as that game tips off. But right now, we'll call it 5. There are 4.5 out there. Lakers laying 5 off of 2 games in Oklahoma City in 3 nights. Lost last night, and many people anticipated the Lakers to rest a bunch. They did not, even though Luka got a little bit of a rest as he got ejected late in that game.
That was ridiculous. But
the Lakers head to Dallas. The return of Luka. Over-under on points tonight at most shops sits at 30.5 for Luka Doncic. Just a reminder, in his lone game against his former team earlier this season in February, he had a triple-double, but only 19 points on 6 of 17 shooting.
So I'm very curious because it's really weird. I thought Tim McMahon brought up a great point, covers the Dallas Mavericks. Luka is very much a player, as we saw yesterday, that thrives in antagonistic environments where he is the villain, where he is the guy that everybody is rooting against. That will not be the case here. Everybody
for him.
Yes, everybody that will be there just screaming and begging for him to come back. The chant that Matt Humans loves so much, he's not fat, bring him back. They might be chanting that tonight out there in Dallas. I am very intrigued by what this environment's going to look like. But we should note, this is a very poor situational spot for the Lakers as a whole. Not only is it the second leg of a back-to-back after fighting tooth and nail, they let go of the rope when Luka got ejected, but they fought pretty hard last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. 2 straight games against the Thunder with a day off in between, and this is the 3rd game in 4 nights. So situationally, it's really not a good spot for L.A. For the Mavericks, of course, seeding on the mind. They still have to finish inside of that top 10, and can jockey, I think, for as high as 8th if they're still alive. We know Anthony Davis is going to be available, and that's the other part about this. This is Anthony Davis' crack at this team, right? Mm-hmm. He got injured at his first game for the Mavericks, so he didn't even see. He didn't get to play in that first matchup between these two. So there's that aspect of it. Anthony Davis' first shot at his former team, a team that he won a championship with. So very much looking forward to this one and what Anthony Davis has in store, because I think that's the real angle. I think Anthony Davis can absolutely eat Jackson Hayes' soul when you're talking about who he has to defend, right? I mean, he can go up against that. Do we get LeBron on AD and what that looks like too? But I think that's a matchup that Anthony Davis thrives in. So are we looking in the wrong direction? Should we be going Anthony Davis tonight? I know everybody's going to be looking in one direction at Luka Doncic, but Anthony Davis tonight, when you're talking about points and rebounds, I think might be something worth looking at for him this evening.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the AD props that are out there for this one.
36.5 was the points and rebounds for him.
Yeah, that could be an interesting angle. Over-under on points, 26.5 at DraftKings for Anthony Davis. Over-under on rebounds is sitting at 9.5. You asked, is Dallas still available for the 8? They are not.
Okay, so 9 that they can get, right?
3 through 8 is Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors, Grizzlies, and T-Wolves, as a handful of them, 4 through 7 right now, all tied at 47 and 31. Would have been 4 through 8 if not for one of the most incredible comebacks that we've seen in the history of the NBA last night, as the Milwaukee Bucks came back to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves.
That might go a long way. You're going to feel the ramifications of that one for a while. I thought we were going to get our 3rd coach firing right before the preseason. Finch, get him out of here. That was a bad loss last night. Really bad.
Yeah, as you look at some of the nuggets that were pointed out there, 24-point blown lead over 9 minutes and 53 seconds in the fourth quarter. The 24-point comeback with 10 minutes or less in regulation, largest in the NBA in 25 years. And JVT, as I mentioned, 4 through 7 in the West right now, all sitting at 47 and 30 time. It's the first time since 1979 that 4 teams from one conference have exactly the same record through 79 games.
Wow.
And the Lakers right now sitting just a game ahead, but as I think many people have noted, the Lakers, I think, hold the tiebreak over every single team from a head-to-head standpoint, which is pretty wild.
We do have our starting lineups announced for both of these teams as well. For the Lakers, we've seen this starting group 11 times. They're 8-3 with them out there. Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Jackson Hayes, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic. For the Mavericks, we already talked about Anthony Davis being back here today. P.J. Washington, A.D., Derek Lively, Klay Thompson, and Najee Marshall. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Mavericks going kind of big, right? You have both your big guys out there, and Derek Lively and Anthony Davis to start, while you're talking about a front court of Jackson Hayes and Rui Hachimura. So I'm very interested to see how that matchup works as well, with Mavericks trying to overpower them up front.
The NBA, by the way, has notified the Lakers that they have rescinded the second technical on Luka Doncic from last night, which led to his ejection in Oklahoma City.
I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. I know a lot of people were doing like that. You can't do that. I mean, it's Doncic's fault to an extent. He constantly is sniping at the refs and doing this. I don't fault an official for thinking
that he was yelling at him.
So, the league did the right thing, but it's actually akin to what we were talking about with John Morant, where it was like, how could you do that with the finger guns? Like, yes, let's ignore the other things that John Morant has done up to this point. Same thing here. Like, he kind of made his own bed, and I think that's going to happen from time to time. So just don't do it again.
All right, busy night ahead. You could tweet us. He's at me, JVT. I'm at 1 Tim Murray, as we have 10 games on the NBA slate. A lot of day baseball, so only a handful of games still to come tonight. Philly at Atlanta, Milwaukee's at Colorado, and also Minnesota at Kansas City. But the rest of the baseball action is underway right now, so certainly we will keep you updated on what is unfolding on the diamond. The Masters, plenty of thoughts on the Masters as the show continues. But up next, we'll continue the NBA chatter. Rick Kamla will join us, give us his thoughts on tonight's slate, as well as looking ahead to the NBA playoffs, which are just around the corner.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We keep it rolling. It is VSiN PrimeTime here on this busy Wednesday evening. Philadelphia up 3-0. So let's go ahead and end that game right there.
Stop the count.
Sixers with that lead.
Stop.
What?
Logan O'Hoppe gets called out on a ridiculous. We need the robo-umps. Absolutely ridiculous.
Did I tell you, I went to the Aviators game just a couple weeks ago.
Like the challenge system?
The AAA baseball team here in town, the AAA of the A's. And yes, the challenge, I was very impressed.
It makes you wonder why we don't have this, right?
It's just like tennis.
It's very quick.
Challenge, you show it on the video board. Was the ump right or wrong? By the way, the two challenges that they had, the ump was actually correct.
Right.
So, no, I thought it was awesome.
So we got to, speaking of that, for those who don't know, I do local on the side. And about 2 weeks ago, we got to talk to the manager of the Aviators, and we talked actually at length about like the whole thing because they did it in spring training. He brought up a great point, which I didn't really think of. Of course, a manager of a baseball club would. The one flaw he thinks it is in the system is that the strike zones aren't necessary. The strike zone is too uniform.
Right.
So obviously a strike zone differs for player to player, and that's one of the adjustments that he would really like to see is that gets a little bit more. You can adjust it a little bit more from a player to a player because some bigger guys will have the strike zone will be too small, some small guys' strike zone will be too big, things like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting, but nonetheless, it is a system that I think works beautifully.
Yeah. No, I was impressed. By the way, a video courtesy of Bobby Belt. Down there in Dallas. I believe he's a radio host on 105.3 The Fan. And there is a fan outside of American Airlines Arena right now with a giant box of clown noses and handing them out to fans.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure that will not be a big deal, and I'm sure they'll just let them walk right in with those clown noses. All right, let's head to our progressive guest line, a gentleman who would never dare wear a clown nose. It is Rick Kamla who joins us courtesy of our progressive guest line. Rick, we got the return tonight of Luka versus the Dallas Mavericks, and I thought JVT made a really good point. Maybe we're overlooking the fact that it's AD versus the Lakers, and that's a pretty big mismatch down low of AD versus the interior presence or lack thereof for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, guys, on my podcast earlier today, we do fantasy, we do betting, ATS and Ricky props and all that kind of stuff. I really like the Anthony Davis point prop over here at 26.5 because, Tim, of what you said, they don't have anybody to guard him. LeBron James is a situational defender, and he has been for a long, long time. He has chase down blocks. He has splashy defensive plays that ooh and ah, and he is a two-way player. But he has so much heavy lifting on the offensive end that he's got to take a lot of defensive possessions off. He is the Lakers 4. Davis is the Mavs 4. Are they going to match up? Probably a little bit, but LeBron doesn't want to go in the hole, the low block, the pinch post, the elbow, and battle with Anthony Davis all night. That's not in LA's best interest. Does Luka guard Davis? No. Jackson Hayes will try and fail. Dorian Finney-Smith doesn't have the size. The Lakers literally don't have a matchup for Anthony Davis. So I love that angle. There's a lot of focus on Luka, and rightly so. It's one of the worst trades we've ever seen in human history, okay? But the Davis side is pretty important, too, and I do like Anthony Davis over 26.5 tonight.
Rick, we brought this up and has been pointed out by media members who covered the Mavericks. Luka's does such a good job in playing in antagonistic environments, right? He likes being the villain. He likes going into these places and destroying people. We saw it against Minnesota. We saw it against Oklahoma City. Well, it's not going to be the case here. They all love him. They all want him back. So what is this environment going to be like? Are we going to get emotionally charged Luka? How can he?
I mean, he talked about the emotions are going to be going through him and all this kind of stuff. But in terms of, guys, you tell me what the line is. I checked it this morning. It was 31.5. I'm a point prop guy. I feel like there's less variability with guys who get shots, get usage rate, get minutes, okay? And the rebounds and the assists, that can be a different thing. But I'm a point prop guy, okay? And I'm good at it. And with Luka Doncic here at 31.5, and again, you guys tell me if that's changed. This is one of those weird things, and you guys aren't bettors. You guys are investors, okay, on sports, because there's difference, right? A bettor is the drunk guy at the bar who's lost 3 bets, and he puts money on the Lakers in the late game, chasing money because he's a Laker fan, okay? I don't operate that way. You guys don't operate that way. So with Luka Doncic, I don't know. Like, he's probably going to have a big game, but I have not had good luck with him personally. I feel like when I go point prop over on Luka, it's gambling, okay? Because, I mean, the number's huge, right? 31.5. That's way over his regular scoring average. So the Vegas is basically building in all of these angles that we're talking about, the revenge game angle and the reunion game angle and all this great stuff, and just sucking all of the oxygen out of the bet, all the value out of the bet. So I'm off on that. I don't know, guys. I mean, Luka's probably going to flirt with a 30-point triple-double, probably going to have a big game, and the Lakers are probably going to win because they're a better basketball team than the Dallas Mavericks. But I am not going there. I do like Austin Reeves' point prop over at 19.5. I really like Klay Thompson's point prop over at 12.5. That's where I'm looking here, guys.
All right, Rick Kamla giving us his thoughts there. By the way, you mentioned it, 30.5 right now, the number at DraftKings for those who can bet that, minus 120 to the over. Worth noting, I'll just point this out, if you're looking into betting this, 31 plus points is at juiced at minus 130, but you can go over 30.5 at minus 120. So always check your options there. You might be able to save a couple of pennies. Rick Kamla joining us here. The other interesting one, and JVT said it earlier to start the show, Rick, and he's more interested in this game than Lakers and Mavericks, and that's this Denver squad without Michael Malone. So the first game without Michael Malone. I guess your initial thoughts of the decision by the Denver Nuggets to part ways with Malone with 4 games left in the regular season.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not a fan of it at all. Tim, I follow you on Twitter. I know you follow me on Twitter. I don't know. You might have seen a series of tweets yesterday where I absolutely annihilated the Nuggets. There were a couple of blue tweets on the thing. I just think it's dumbassery by Denver, and it's not just the timing of it, which is really, really stupid. It's the fact that you don't blow out both the shot caller and the coach. You blow out one of them, like Memphis did. And I didn't agree with that either with Taylor Jenkins. I think that's an absolute joke that he's unemployed right now. He's a great coach. Michael Malone's an even greater coach. He's a champion. He's the best coach in Nuggets history. And they bounce on him because of the rift between him and Calvin Booth. Are you out of your minds? Like, he's going to have a job like that. Michael Malone's one of the great coaches in the NBA right now. It'd be like the Clippers stupidly firing Tyronn Lue. The rest of the league would be like, thank you. Now we get a chance to bring this guy in. So I think it's really, really dumb. I think, look, I really believed, guys, that Denver was going to go to the Western Conference Finals this year with Malone, with Booth. And now I don't, because it's like you've sent a cannonball into the sail of your own ship doing this with 3 or 4 games left in the regular season. It just doesn't make sense. It's meddling ownership. The Kroenke family is flexing. They're full of arrogance. They're full of money. They think they know everything. And they don't. And this is malpractice. It's not malpractice to the level of the DeMont family and Nico Harrison trading Luka Doncic and giving up 7 years for the 32-year-old Anthony Davis, which is unconscionably stupid. But it is a WTF move by Denver. Now, as we shift to this game tonight, guys, you've got I was giving Rick Edelman and David Edelman's the interim coach, but it's a game at Sacramento. I really like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, both to hit their point prop overs here. I checked this morning. DeRozan was at 22.5. LaVine was either at 20.5 or 21.5. No Malik Monk. Keegan Murray is questionable. Denver's a terrible defensive team. Jokic has been complaining about it, according to reports. So I don't know who wins the game, guys. I'm not on a side here. I'm on DeRozan and LaVine, okay? I think both of these guys are going to get off. Both of them are absolutely cooking right now, playing at an extremely high level. And I think they've picked up their game because they see right around the corner, we got a play-in tournament, and then maybe the playoffs, and we got to ratchet up our game. And obviously more shots and usage rate without Malik Monk. So I like the point prop over on those two guys.
Rick, we got 60 seconds left with you. Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, all kind of hot in respective degrees here. Of those 3, who would you rather invest in to win the Western Conference?
Whew. The Lakers. The LA Clippers have James Harden. So, guys, when we get to a game 5, 6, or 7, he's going to choke, and he's going to get in their way of winning, okay? I don't trust Golden State because Jimmy Butler's got this turn it on, turn it off thing. I just don't trust it, okay? He's breathed life into that team. Curry and Green have been different since he got there. I just don't trust it. The Lakers have arguably the best big 3 in the NBA. I give it to Porzingis, Tatum, and Brown right now, but not by much. Luka, LeBron, and Reeves are averaging like 70 points a game or something like that. And they're a real mismatch problem, especially with the size of Bron and Doncic. So I would take the Lakers out of those 3.
He's Rick Kamla. Follow him on social media at Rick Kamla Sports. That's KMLA Sports. And make sure to check out all of his content there. Rick, always appreciate your insight, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, man. Talk soon.
There he is, Rick Kamla, with his favorite player props for the night. And in the Dallas and Lakers game, likes AD, Austin Reeves, and Klay Thompson over their point totals. That's JBT. I'm Tim Murray. We'll get you updated on all the action going on right now across the NBA and Major League Baseball. We'll do that next. It is VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
It is VSiN Primetime here on this Wednesday evening. We got a laugh from JVT as I don't think things went well for his beloved Los Angeles Angels just a moment ago.
No, we don't have to bring that up, though, but Yusei Kikuchi did give up a grand slam there in the first inning, so it is. And, of course, it always happens, right? Gives up the grand slam, immediately induces the out on the next pitch. So, of course, I'm happy. But, no, it is 4-0. Tampa Bay up on top end of the first inning. What I'm laughing at is
today, more shenanigans outside of American Airlines Arena?
Kind of. So today's a big day. Anthony Davis gets to take on his old team. Luka Doncic making his return to take on at least a front office that let him go. Not a fan base, not a team really that wanted him gone, but there is some revenge to exact. And so, of course, what is there a picture of? There's a great sign. It's not the same without you. Number 42, Maxi Kleber. There's a pair of fans with "It's not the same without you" Maxi Kleber sign standing outside of the arena. Out of all the people,
it reminds me of I don't know if you're a Simpsons guy, but when Waylon Smithers stands out, he's saying "Boo Earns" or "Boo." Yeah. I was saying "Boo Earns." It's kind of like the one person. It's like, I miss Maxi Kleber. Forget Luka. I miss Maxi Kleber.
It's not the same without you, Maxi. Okay.
That game about to get underway here in a matter of moments right now. Looking at where we stand from a point spread standpoint. 4.5. So a little bit of late money coming in on the Dallas Mavericks, as this was up at 5 at a number of shops. Circa was the first, down at 4.5. 2 games going on right now as we've got the Orlando Magic taking on the Boston Celtics. Boston, have they officially locked up the 2 yet, JVT?
Yes, I believe you had that fancy graphic.
I did have the graphic.
They are locked into the 2.
Yes, they are. So the first and second seeds in both respective conferences are
I'm telling you,
JVT watching Angels games is actually a lot of fun.
I'm telling you right now, Kyron Paris might be the truth. This kid's freaking great. He just hit another solo shot right now. The dude has been absolutely fantastic. Part of a lineup that has been, as I keep telling Matt, sneaky good, sneaky all right, sneaky solid. But solar homer there off Pepio, and Kyron Paris does it again. So just remember the name, Kyron Paris.
You have him on your fantasy team?
No, I tried to grab him. It's funny you say that. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but I had an opportunity to do it, and no, I did not grab him. But I do have O'Hoppy, so let's go.
Yes, the Western and Eastern Conference 1 and 2 seeds are all locked up. OKC and Houston 1-2 in the West. Cleveland and Boston 1-2 in the East. The East, much more clear than the West. The West is a complete and utter mess in kind of a fun way. The Eastern Conference, the Knicks should get the 3. The Pacers should be the 4. Bucks should be the 5. Even though if the Bucks falter down the stretch, there's a chance with 2 games to wrap up the season against the Pistons. But looks more than likely that is going to be your 1 through 6. And then the play-in tournament is a little bit more up in the air in the Eastern Conference, especially 9 and 10, as I believe the Heat and Bulls have an identical record heading into this evening as they take on each other at 8:10 Eastern. Miami, a 2-point road favorite at Chicago, which very well could be a preview of the play-in tournament, the 9-10 matchup.
Yeah, worth pointing out in that one, well-rested Chicago Bulls benched everybody the other day. I think it was yesterday. Time melts all together, but Josh Giddey and the others all missed the contest for Chicago last time out. They will all be available here today. I know that Mitch, I think, I don't want to put words in mouth, I believe it was PRA over for Josh Giddey, but either way, Bulls will be at full strength. So I can't wait to watch that, only because, obviously, it might be a play-in preview, and we get to see them duke it out. And as I told Matt the other day, these matchups, you and I go back to the NBA Finals, as I keep saying. How we learned so much about that series before it happened, right, was because I went back and watched the 2 matchups between those 2 teams. So matchups in the regular season will tell us a lot, and I can't wait to see these 2 duke it out later today. By the way, a quick side note.
Yeah.
Myself and Mr. Paris, same birthday. Didn't know that. True angel right there.
You going to go to an Angel game this year?
Yes, we already have plans. I will be off for a couple of weeks in June.
Nice.
And wife and I will be out in L.A. She has a couple of things she wants to do, and I was like, well, might as well go see Angels Red Sox. So that's what we're going to do, too.
There you go. Very good. Going to go to Disneyland?
I don't know. I'm not big on the Disneyland stuff. She is. We'll see. I might.
This is where VSiN college basketball is over, and I'm asking JVT, hey, we going to go to Disneyland?
Oh, no, they got Universal out there, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Universal's dope, too.
I'm sending a text right now.
We got to go to Universal.
Hell yeah, dude.
Honey, while we're out there. We're going to go to the Angels game, and then we're going to go to Universal. No, Disney is right down the street from the old Angels.
Yeah, I knew that.
Ballpark.
I just don't like Disney.
All right, couple NBA games going on right now. The Celtics closed as 8-point underdogs because, boy, was that lineup something here tonight for the Boston Celtics, as they are without Jason Tatum, without Jaylen Brown. The starting lineup, JVT, of Baylor Shireman, Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, Peyton Pritchard, and Torrey Craig tonight for the Boston Celtics. And right now the Celtics trailing by 4 against the Orlando Magic, as that game went off as an 8-point spread and make it now a 7-point lead for the Orlando Magic, as they are on a quick 8-0 run here. So Boston with the 2 seed locked up. You would anticipate, JVT, down the stretch, as we look at the remainder of the season, curious how they go about it, because Boston with the 2 seed locked up, they're benching pretty much everyone tonight. And then you've got Charlotte for back-to-back home games to wrap up the regular season, a Charlotte team that is pretty limited, I would say, right now. So could be some fun ones there at TD Garden to close out the season. Do we see the starters maybe in one game for the Boston Celtics against the Charlotte Hornets?
Yeah, maybe like a half or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you would think you're going to give them a little bit of run. You can't just give them the last 3 days off or 3 games off. But I will say, Jaylen Brown has been dealing with a knee injury, a bone bruise that has been a little troublesome for him. So maybe there is a a reality in which they let Brown sit the rest of the way.
He only played, 20-some-odd minutes last night?
And given comments from him, it sounds like it's actually really bothersome. So that's going to be something to monitor here for Boston as they head into the postseason.
All right, coming up here in just a little bit, once again, we've got the Dallas Mavericks taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. The return of Luka Doncic in Dallas, over-under sitting at 30.5. We just heard from Rick Kamla, and he is not going to be in on the Luka over-under, but he does like AD over. He agrees with you. He likes Austin Reeves, and he also likes Klay Thompson. Those are the three plays that Rick Kamla did like in the the Lakers and Dallas Mavericks game about to tip off here in just a matter of moments. Looking at the betting splits right now for this particular contest, not a surprise here, JVT, but a overwhelming number of folks at DraftKings in on the Los Angeles Lakers. -4.5, getting 83% of bets, 87% of money at DraftKings for this Lakers at Mavericks game. Could you be tempted to look at the Mavericks here at this price? Is it a little elevated?
Like we talked about, it's situationally, if you were to remove all of the nonsense around this game and just present it as, all right, here, we're in January, right? What do you make of this spot? You would say, oh, this is a terrible situation for the Lakers. Your second leg of back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, 2 games in Oklahoma City, which had a playoff feel to them.
Played everyone last night.
Yep, played everybody last night in the hopes of maybe snagging another one from Oklahoma City. You did not get it, obviously. Luka does not have the same run, but still he played, and he played in both games. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting to see if this is actually the negative scheduling spot that on paper it looks like for the Los Angeles Lakers. And then again, I'm not a big situational guy. It has to mean something that this isn't going to be like the most charged environment you've walked into. They're going to be cheering for you.
This isn't LeBron coming back to Cleveland after leaving for Miami.
Right. This is going to be a crowd that is largely behind you. So it's not like you're going in and being like, all right, boys, it's us against the world. Like, no, they all want you to win. They all want to screw over. They're all wearing clown noises. They all want to screw over the team that you're playing against. So the environment's weird. The situation's odd. But I will say it's a negative scheduling spot. And if you're one of those people that does gravitate toward those, you would be looking here at the Mavericks. Especially, look, their starting lineup is the starting lineup we expected post-trade deadline minus Kyrie Irving. Everybody's out there. You have Klay Thompson, P.J. Washington, Derek Lively, Anthony Davis. They're all playing. They're all part of the starting lineup tonight. And as we talked about, that's kind of an intriguing lineup if you had Kyrie Irving in there. So this is 4 of the 5 guys that Dallas expected to be going to battle with here. And it's a team that's, I don't think, completely devoid of talent, especially up front.
Well, JVT just told you a little bit about his summer plans. He's going to head to Los Angeles and catch a Angels versus Red Sox game. Our summer plans include giving you a great deal, $59 if you want to be a VSiN Pro subscriber for $59 all the way through August 1st. That includes our daily best bets, exclusive betting splits, which I just mentioned, courtesy of DraftKings. We also have Circa as well, expert analysis and betting system. So check it out, vsin.com/subscribe. If you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, guess what? You'd have all of our Masters content, which is available over there at vsin.com right now as the Masters, of course, gets going tomorrow. We'll take a look at our favorite plays for the Masters, but I want to ask you the same question you just asked our guest, Rick Kamla, regarding who you trust out of the Los Angeles Clippers, the Lakers, and the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors tonight, by the way, a 17.5-point favorite against the San Antonio Spurs. So they are just 1 game back of the Lakers, but the Lakers hold that tiebreak. So we'll hit on that on the other side of the break. Lakers and Mavericks about to get underway. We'll get you updated on that. That is one of our VSiN Primetime games of the night. That's JVT. I'm Tim Murray. It is VSiN Primetime.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Wow. If you were on social media just a moment ago, I'm sure you could not miss the video that the Dallas Mavericks just played in tribute of Luka Doncic, who was crying while watching the tribute video. And then the introduction, you had it on your computer there, JVT. The intro of Luka was as if he was a Dallas Maverick.
Yep. Starting at guard, number 77. Everybody starts screaming.
From Slovenia.
You would think it was a home game for him, and it kind of is, but it just goes to, engrossing, captivating, fascinating, whatever you want. Like, this game's got it all, dude. I am very interested from a narrative standpoint to see. Lakers won the opening tip. LeBron grabbed it and immediately went down court and got a foul. So he's at the free throw line. They're up 1-0.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see it. Once again, the point total, we'll call it 30.5. That's what DraftKings had. We'll certainly keep our eyes on that and how it plays out. AD, what was he, 26.5, I believe was the number that we had at DraftKings. So we'll keep our eyes on that as well. But, you think back to some of the notable returns. And by the way, LeBron is starting the game on AD. So we'll see how this one plays out as the game goes on. This was a matchup that you were curious about who would guard AD, and it's going to open up with LeBron over AD. We'll see if that is the way. What is that?
LeBron was trying to get too cute there and just threw it off the ass of P.J. Washington.
Yeah, so we are underway in Dallas. As we said, it looks like a pretty packed house there for this Mavericks-Lakers game. 2-0 Lakers with the early lead. Luka Doncic, once again, over under 30.5. But I'm trying to remember. I'm sure there are plenty of them out there. But a positive return like this. I remember as when we were kids, when Jordan made his return as a Wizard to Chicago, obviously was a big deal.
But those situations are so different because it's like everyone you find that is a positive return, it's tail end of the career.
Right.
It's guy that's got nothing left. It's not dude that was in the apex of his career, months removed from leading said team to the finals single-handedly almost, getting traded in the middle of the year. This is so much different. This is so weird.
It's bizarre. And once again, when you think of LeBron, when he returned to Cleveland, that was very different, obviously, because he made the decision to leave Cleveland to go to Miami.
There's Maverick fans clapping that Lucas scored.
Well, Dirk Nowitzki is there at the game. This is his second Mavericks game, I believe, or second Luka game, I believe is the way they phrased it. Since
he was at the Lakers-Mavericks game in L.A., yeah.
Yeah, so sloppy start. Luka does have a bucket, and 4-2 is the Lakers' lead right now over the Dallas Mavericks with 10 minutes to go. JVT, you asked the question to Rick, and actually I was asked this today. I was doing a radio hit in Baltimore, and the host asked me what team in that clump of squads in the West would you look at from a future standpoint? And I said, I think I need to see the bracket come out, but for me, the Los Angeles Clippers or the Golden State Warriors, depending on which are on the other side of the Golden State Warriors, would be intriguing to me. You asked a question to Rick Kamla just a moment ago. Who do you trust the most, Lakers, Clippers, or Golden State Warriors? What's your answer?
I continue to believe that this is Oklahoma City's conference to lose, so I'll say whatever team finishes. I think what you meant to say is on the other side of Oklahoma City in the postseason bracket.
Either 3 or 6.
Yeah, I'll take whatever one of those teams finishes on that side. I think that's going to be pretty important. And look, the Warriors could potentially get up to 3 here, and if that's the case, then all of a sudden you're looking at a Warriors team that is playing pretty well and has a pretty clear path in front of them. I do think Houston presents some interest when it comes to Amin Thompson and the ability to guard Curry, and having a big like Şengün that would give the somewhat smallish front court of Golden State a little bit of trouble. So I don't know if that's like a chalk it up for a win series should those two teams meet in the second round, but I do think that whoever gets on that side of the bracket is going to be a very, very happy, we'll say, to put off facing the Oklahoma City Thunder until a Western Conference Finals should they get there.
Yeah, and the Houston Rockets right now, a team that you would know the injury report. How many guys are they sitting tonight, JVT? Because they are a 10.5-point dog at the Los Angeles Clippers.
Let's see. Dylan Brooks is resting. Şengün's out. Jabari Smith Jr., Amin Thompson, and Fred VanVleet are all out. So pretty much your core guys are all out tonight.
And once again, they've locked up the 2 seed, so you're going to start seeing a bunch of these teams that have locked up their playoff positions be resting players. The Clippers, obviously one of the teams that are tied in the 4 through 7 spot. By the way, Lakers off to a pretty sluggish start, missing a bunch of shots around the rim. Dallas has a 7-4 lead right now over the Los Angeles Lakers. Live line sits at 3.5, so a little bit off of where we were at close. 3.5 right now, total 223. Luka has 2 points. Klay Thompson, a over-under that Rick Kamla did like, has an early 3-pointer. But, yeah, I don't know how cute you can get, JVT, because these teams, if you get too cute, you're going to drop into the play-in tournament. So ideally, you want to be the 3 or the 6, right? But you also want to avoid the play-in tournament at all costs. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out with those 3 through 8 teams right now.
Well, which is why it goes back to, so there's a couple of things from the betting perspective. What's going to be pretty interesting is whoever finishes in that side of the bracket, how their finals odds adjust, how their Western Conference final or their Western Conference odds adjust once that is set and they are not on the side of the Oklahoma City Thunder having to face them in a second round potentially, or maybe in the first round, depending on where you finish. The other is that's what makes this loss yesterday for Minnesota so incredible. Not only is it one of the bigger comebacks that we have seen in that fourth quarter, but it's also a staggering loss for a Minnesota team that is now the 8th seed in the Western Conference and a full game behind the Memphis Grizzlies in the loss column. So that is the other impact of a game like that. It's incredible that they lost that game in that fashion. It's also incredible considering what's at stake for this team.
Yeah, and the Bucks had something to play for, but obviously not as much as a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves. So once again, in case you missed it, you probably heard about it by now. 95-71. You know, I'll tell you this: when it was 95-71, JVT, I unloaded on Bucks money line.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was. You could see it coming. You definitely could see it coming. But 95-71, 9:53 to go, 24-point comeback with 10 minutes or less left in regulation, largest in the NBA in the last 20 years. All right, updating you on what's unfolding across the NBA right now. Lakers and Mavericks just underway, about to hit their first media timeout, 7.5 minutes to go. Right now, your live line, JVT, sits at the Lakers laying 2.5 right now, total 224.5, Lakers and Mavericks.
Yeah, no real observations yet. We'll see how this develops and moves forward. But I don't really think there's anything crazy that you're like, I feel like this is a pretty strong angle to go after right now as Derek Lively finishes in the lane, and 12-7, Dallas up on top.
Yeah. So
Fire Nico chants apparently are breaking out in the in the arena.
As Austin Reeves gets an easy bucket there. The Magic are hammering the very shorthanded Boston Celtics tonight. How have you gone about it, JVT, and how will you as of right now? Look, you're going to have to pay some pretty big taxes, I think, in a lot of these spots where you're seeing teams rest their starters. Are you going to be looking to go against some of these teams like the Boston Celtics tonight, who started in their eyes, a JV roster against the Orlando Magic, who do have something to play for from a seeding standpoint?
No, I think you're probably playing some of these dogs for the most part. I think the market gets a little too high on these teams that are playing for something against teams that have nothing to play for. Don't worry, that's me. I will say, and there's actually a great example of this, and you know exactly what I think I'll refer to. Yesterday, the Indiana Pacers were 19-point favorites. Humans and I sat here and watched them the entire show.
They should have lost the game.
Struggled to put away the Washington Wizards that entire time, despite the fact that the Wizards had nothing to play for. So while there are going to be some of these big favorites that end up getting it done, Memphis got it done yesterday as a 14.5-point favorite. We saw Cleveland get it done as a 14.5-point favorite. I'm not rushing to lay some of these massive numbers all the time. Clippers didn't cover a big number. Pacers didn't cover a big number. So it's not just this chalk it up as a win and lay some of these big numbers.
Hey, folks, take your betting to the next level with First Bet, whether it's Santa Anita, Gulfstream Park, or the road to the Kentucky Derby and Preakness. First Bet puts the action at your fingertips. Sign up now at firstbet.com. That's the number 1, stbet.com, and use the promo code VSiN200 to score a 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. Don't miss out. Bet smarter today at firstbet.com. 19-17 the score. Luka Doncic headed to the free throw line here with the Lakers trailing by 2. First media timeout in Dallas. 5:32 to go in the game, and right now the point spread is back to where it closed. 4.5 is the number. Lakers and Mavericks total at 233.5 as the pace has started to pick up a little bit more. So JVT, at our first media timeout, we see an uptick in about 8 points in the total in the Mavericks and Lakers. Luka has 7 points, and he's headed to the free throw line for 2 free throws on the other side of that commercial break. Speaking of which, we got to take a commercial break. That's JVT. I'm Tim Murray. The Masters gets going tomorrow. We'll give you a look at our cards for the Masters next.